Hello, Beez Bladers! Welcome back and welcome newcomers to the channel. I have a very interesting unboxing to do today because this is my second time and I'm going to tell you guys all about it. This will be my second Cogent because I had to return the first one. So you'll want to hear what I have to say once I get this one open and start talking about it. But thank you subscribers, thank you patrons, and thank you channel members. I so appreciate your guys and your gals' support. You make this thing rock. So let's get in here and see what this Cogent looks like. So this isn't going to be necessarily my first impression because I've already had one. So what happened was I got my first one and I did the unboxing just like I'm doing right now. And by the way, I'm using the Civivi Relic to unbox this bad boy. You can go check out my video on this one. This one's pretty sweet and it has the little tweezers, which actually have come in handy, but I digress. So I got my first one and I started going through it. Went through the specs, and then I got to the action, and I was like, what's going on here? And I'll tell you guys what happened here in a minute. Golly, what? Oh, more stuff to cut open. All right. I'm getting ahead of myself because whether this one is good or not, this video is going up. So I was needless to say, I had to send it back, and I've only ever sent back a couple knives, and this was one of them. So, just to give you the rundown, some folks are brand new, so I got to let you see. This is the Civivi Cogent with black G10 handle, black stone washed 14C28N blade, and it's a button lock. Oh, yeah. It better be better than the last one. And, you know, I have to say, I did learn my lesson early on in collecting. Be careful here. Early on in collecting, I complained a little bit about a knife, and someone said, well, why don't you just return it? And I was like, oh, yeah, I never thought about that. So this knife cost about $69, $70. If you've never had one, new Civivis come in this nice case, and it has some really nice, I don't know, softy stuff. Get a Civivi sticker, and an Elementum sticker, and a little pamphlet, and these cleaning cloths are the bomb. They're awesome. Love them. So let's get this Civivi Cogent out. A lot of you have already seen this. All of you folks in the knife community have already watched this one ad infinitum, I'm sure. But you're going to want to hear my take on it. So here is the Civivi Cogent. Here's this side, and I'll wipe it off here in a second. And here's this side. Man, it has some nice texture on the handles. I have to make sure that I'm not skeptical going in that this one's going to be like the last one. So here's your blade. Has a nice looking blade. I'm going to go ahead and wipe it off. All right, that's better. So it has a really nice looking stone wash on it. And oh man, it feels solid as a rock. So what happened was the one I had terrible lock stick. But in going with normal fashion, I'm going to let you guys see both sides of it here. And I'm telling you what, it has great texture. And I have to remember that this one isn't the last one. So maybe this will be a good experience. It has a tip up, right side, left side carry, which is very nice. This is a button lock. And we'll see. Sounding a little sticky. We'll see what the action's going to be like. But I tell you what, before I do anything, let me give you the specs in 60 seconds. Are you ready? I just got done getting all your specs and weighing her out, and I'm ready. Here we go. So it's 3.81 ounces, which I'm really surprised. I thought it was heavier than that. Your total length from tip to tip is 7.81 inches. You have a nice clip point blade style with 14C28N steel and a nice black stone wash. Your total blade length is 3.45 inches with a sharpened blade length of 3.33 inches. Your blade width is 1.04 and your blade stock thickness is 118 thousandths. Something I was a little bit surprised with was a very consistent 10 thousandths behind the edge all the way up and down. I was kind of surprised by that. Your handle is a really nice textured G10. Your close length from end to end is 4.37 inches. Your handle width right here is 0.87 inches. Your closed width at the widest point was 1.32 inches. Your handle thickness is 0.51 inches, and you can use the flipper or the button to open this bad boy. So there's your specs. So let's see how sharp it is, because it sure should be as consistent as the grind was. Oh, wow. Holy cow. This thing is a laser beam. Whoa. Okay, all right, we're definitely good on the grind. Wow. Very impressive. Now checking over the fit and finish, let's take a good up close look. Got a little spot right there. It's not absolute perfection. I mean, I'm being a little extra picky just due to the lock stick I had to deal with. And boy, was it frustrating, and I'll explain it here in just a second. It looks like we have a T8s. I don't even remember. It's been, you know, by the time I got this knife and reviewed it and then sent it back, and then I had to wait another week, or it seems like it's taken forever for me to get this back. Yet they have a nice pocket clip. It goes in and out of the pocket very well. I do remember that. You don't have any screws sticking out, and you can reverse it, which is very nice, very, very nice. No markings on the blade. And the stonewash looks pretty good, pretty good. That dark stonewash. Have some nice jimping up top up here, and also some jimping right here. It's not heavy. You can see it's not pronounced. It doesn't stick out. But if you're pushing in, if you're giving it a push, and I'll show you the ergos here in a second, if you're pushing in on it, it's going to help you with a little bit of grip. And you also have this right here. A little bit of jimping on the G10. And here's some texture vision. Give you guys an up-closey look at that texture, which feels really nice. It's just the perfect amount of texture. Gets a hold of your fingers. And this is, you know, here's a look at the whole knife itself. It kind of has more of a tactical look to it. I'm not a huge fan of the whole tactical look, at least not at the moment. It changes from day to day. I really like, if you look here, the edges are really nicely chamfered, which is something I will always be grateful about. Let's do some quick size comparisons and see if you guys have something that's close. Are you ready? Let's do it. Okay, here's the Spyderco Tenacious and the Spyderco Para 3. Some of you guys have one of these or one of the other. There's those two. Here's a couple more popular ones. The Spyderco Delica 4 and the Civivi Elementum button lock. So, yeah, okay, about the same length. All right. Yeah, I don't even remember much about this knife. I only had it for one night, and I was like, I'm sending it back. I have to send it back. Don't keep it. All right, here's the Rat, the Ontario Rat 1, and here's the CJRB Feldspar. Have to have the Feldspar. It's one of the most popular knives out there. I think just about everybody has one. And if you don't, you probably end up getting one. I held off just because everyone had one. And then I was like, all right, I'll get it. All right. Here's the new Civivi Relic and the Civivi Riffle. So there's the Riffle, there's the Relic, and you can see, you know, you can tell it comes from the same place. And especially these blades. I'm going to show you the blades on the Relic versus, yeah, wow. They are very, very, very similar. I mean, there's some small differences here on how big the grind is, how far the grind is, but the swedge is just about the same. I mean, wow, they are very, very close. And let's look at the handles too while we're here. While we're at it, about the same handle length. Now, I do like these neutral ergos. We'll see how these ergos are. Like I said, I don't even remember. And now for the part I've been waiting on. Let's check out deployment of this bad boy and see if it's better than the last one. Before we do, quick call to action. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. You don't want to miss what's coming up. And every Friday night, 8:15 to 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Beez Blades live at the Hive. All right. Okay, are you ready? Let's see what it does. Let's see how the flipper is. Here's the push button. Oh, I can already tell you it's better. How's the close? Okay, that's better too. So, all right, so there's me pushing all the way down on the button. I was expecting it to be more like the Elementum button lock. See how drop sheddy that is? I was expecting that with a button lock. And this one is doing similar to the other one, which I don't know if that's normal. I'm not worried about that. But the problem I was having so bad with my other one was terrible lock stick. I mean, it was bad. It was discernible tink every time I unlocked it. This one, I'm feeling a click. Can you hear it? Hear that click? That's not what I was expecting. Now, that could be because there could be some lube on the button. We're going to take this apart and get in there and look and make sure it's all nice and dried out. So here's your light switch. Yeah, this is much smoother. The other one, when I opened it, on the open, it went clunk. This one, it has that ting. Much nicer. It's closing a lot better than the other one did. Yeah, I am very glad that I returned it. So this is a lesson to all of us. Don't be don't feel like you're trapped into keeping a knife if it is subpar, or it's just not working like you should expect. Or if you see other people with the same knife and yours is not doing what theirs is doing, there might be something wrong. You know, there's always going to be a dud in the batch. But the button does have a discernible click. It's not super smooth, and it's not drop shutty by any means whatsoever. I kind of expected it to drop shut, but it's not dropping shut. Let's see if I can reverse flick it. Ooh, yeah, nice reverse flick. Yeah, so you can reverse flick it, and I'll have to get that down. You can also pinch it open, and you can see I'm getting that bounce. I'm getting a lot of bounce. That's something I'm going to have to learn the timing to let go at the right time so it stays shut, but you can see I can do it. How about left-hand deployment and left-hand closing? I'm getting that bounce every time. I don't know. I don't know about that one. And left-handed, yeah, it's not quite as easy. I can still pinch it open. I can still use the button to open it and shut it, but I'm getting that bounce. So that's something that's going to be like, okay, it's my knife, and I know what it does, and I'm used to it, right? Now for your ergos, my hand from here to here is 4 inches. Here to here is 3.5. And for the bottom of my palm, the tip of my finger is 7.25. So this is what she looks like. Let's open it up. It opens up nice and fast. It does have a nice ting, nice flip to it. So ergos are good. The ergos are comfortable. Yeah, your thumb just falls in right onto that jimping. Nice jimping. It's not too big, not too small. It's not too aggressive. It has enough aggression to grab a hold of my fingers, so I appreciate that. And you're going to be able to do plenty of, what do you call that? Utility cutting. That's a lot of what I do is utility cutting, so I appreciate that. The handle's comfortable. It's not hot spotty to me. The clip is falling just right into my hand, just in the right spot where it's not bothering me. So, and it's very nice. I already told you it's chamfered. It's all softened. All the edges are nice and softened. And we'll see what it looks like on the inside here in just a second. So overall, my first impressions of this knife are, I'm glad that the button isn't like the last one. It still clicks. I don't really enjoy that click. You can hear it. Maybe that'll clear up a little bit. Let's take it apart and see what it looks like. But the ergos and the action's way better than the last one. I do get that bounce, which I'm going to have to learn to time because I'm getting that bounce every time. And I'm sure this is something a lot of you are going to experience. Yeah, definitely something I'm going to have to work at. So let's take it apart and see if it gets a little smoother. Okay, let's get in here. I'm going to get out a T6 and a T8. Get you a set of these. There's a link in the description. Make sure you get the right set, get the right size, or you'll have to send those back. Here's a Weehaw bit driver, and I'm going to use this. This is usually what I use on the pivot, because sometimes the pivot can be a little tough. But so now to the whole story. I did this, like I said, I did this video with the last one, and I was really confused because, you know, I still had the bounce on the shut, but it was not near as smooth as this one is. So it's definitely a lot of improvement. But I still have to say that I'm a little disappointed in that button. Oh yeah, I gotta use the stubby. But yeah, I'm kind of a little disappointed in how clicky the button is. Just because I guess I'm used to my this one right here. It is so smooth and it's not clicky. So, you know, I mean, I'm not really nitpicking. I know I'm not nitpicking because I was talking with a couple other knife reviewers on video chat. Whew, those are in there. And they were like, no, you're not thinking in your head. You're correct. Send it back. Because it was just terrible. It was way worse than this example. When I pushed the button, it went tink. It was, so I can tell you right now, it is definitely over lubed. It is lubed to the max. And when you have a button lock, that can be why it sticks. You don't want lube. And right here's the little spring that came out. See this spring? The spring was sitting right in here, which is where the button goes. And you'll see all this here in just a second. But as I was saying, you don't want a bunch of lube on your button. And as lubed as this is, that's hopefully what our problem is. So we're going to come off here nicely. There we go. So, okay, so it's not so bad on the inside. Most of that lube was on the outside. So that's very nice. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So this is what your pivot looks like. Really nice looking bearings. And those are ceramic bearings. And let's see, I have the button locked. Let's go all the way around here and see if we can slide her off. Comes off nice and easy. And I'm paying attention to my ball bearings, make sure I put them back in the same way. And thank you to the subscriber that pointed out, whichever side has this indentation, that's the side that the open side of your ball bearings are going to face. So I was like, oh, okay, I just always put them in the way I found them. That way I don't put it back together and wonder what in the world's going on. Use a little bit of alcohol. And in always keeping with tradition, this might be the first disassembly you've seen. Not all of us have been in this knife community for a long time. And if you're new, welcome, welcome, welcome. You have found some of the most awesome people on this planet. Some of the friendliest and most giving and caring people on this planet. This is an amazing knife community. So if you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. And definitely come to the live streams. You don't have to say anything. It will take you no more than a couple of minutes to realize that everybody is so nice and so friendly. So here's the button. And you can see there's lube on the button. And that could be why it's sticking. So we might get some really good action after we get this nice and cleaned and dried off. So this could turn out to be a better situation than last time, than what I dealt with. You can see it's really nice and clean. So I'm going to use some KPL knife pivot lube. Get you some. I'm just going to use a tiny, tiny, tiny little bit because I don't want any leaking into my button. At all. Not at all. You can get these little swabs at KPL. KPL knife pivot lube. There's a link in the description. You get 10% off with my discount code. And I have discount codes to KPL knife pivot lube, Mojave Outdoor, White Mountain Knives. And just so I don't use too much, I'm just going to put some of this KPL on this little swabby dobby and do this. Be careful I don't get any inside here. And I did that. So that's not what the issue was on the last one. It was nice and clean and dry, and it still stuck terrible. That's not indicative, you know, because the other folks that I saw that had them weren't having the same issue. But I have heard, and I will say, and that's the whole point of reviewing for you guys, is if you're thinking of getting one, I have heard that the button can be a little clicky. Just a little bit clicky. So put this guy in here, and I'm just going to put just a tiny little bit, because like I said, you don't want any of this on the button at all. Unless you like your button to be really clicky, which I don't know. And I'm hoping this will improve the action just a little bit, maybe, because and I don't want any oil in there. I'm hoping this improves the action because I thought it would be more drop shutty than it is. I really, really did. I really, really did. I'm going to put my button back in here. It puts the button back in. It puts the lotion on its skin. What's that from? I know you all know what that's from. There's no way you don't know. Now see? Ah. All right, let me make sure we're getting everything back like we're supposed to. Am I? Am I not? I think so. Yeah, we'll find out. We shall find out. So it's going back together pretty well. It's pretty simple. So if you have one, you can see it's a pretty simple design. Everything's clicked in nice and clean. All right, get our spring. Get her a little springy spring. Put right there. And you can see the spot that it goes right there. And just to let you know, this pivot is not D-shaped. There's a little notch on the other side, which I will show you just in a second here. There's a little notch. There we go. That keeps your C in the pivot, the Civivi pivot, from spinning. And I'm just going to get this started just to hold it down. All right, got her started. Got it started. Okay. But as I was saying earlier, and yeah, I'm very squirrel, or as we say on the live stream, my Carta, come into the live stream on Friday nights, anywhere between 8:15 and 11:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm just getting this started. I'm not tightening that down. I'm just getting it in there. Just getting it in there. And just look, just watch everybody talking and being super friendly. And if you haven't seen my disassemblies, you know that I don't use Loctite. but you probably should if you don't check your screws all the time, because you don't want a screw to fall out, because then you'll have to get a hold of them and ask for another screw. I only put some little tad of medium strength Loctite, and there I have a link in the description to the right kind if you don't want to have any doubts. I'm just getting these started. Everybody going where they're supposed to. It looks like they are. Okay. Okay, I have those in, but loose. Just in there. So, make sure I have my pivot where it's supposed to be. Now, see how the Civivi is, the C symbol is pointed where it's supposed to? You want to make sure that you have it lined up, because there's a little bitty tab that will keep it from spinning. That's what keeps it from spinning on you, so you don't need to use a Torx pivot or a Torx screw on both sides. Just keep your finger pushed up against this side, and it'll screw right back in. And I'm not cranking it, but I've tightened it down. So let's see. Is it going to be centered? Yeah, it's looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. So I'm happy with that for now. We'll go ahead and tighten everybody else down and adjust them. Yeah, it's definitely centered. I appreciate that. We'll tighten these guys down. But yeah, so don't forget to show up to the live streams. Check them out. We have a lot of fun. Make sure you always comment on every video, because that's what helps the channel. If you're not a patron or you're not a channel member, one way you can definitely help the channel is by commenting. Tell me what you think about the video. All right, so it's too tight. It's not what he said. All right, let's tighten it back up just a little bit. Looks pretty good. Okay, all right. So the button is, the button's still clicky. It's not near as bad as the other one was. I think I can live with that. And I'm definitely going to have to get used to that bounce. It bounces open every time. That's not the coolest thing in the world. I'd say we're pretty well centered. Looks pretty good. All right, let's get to the big screen. Okay, and we're back. So it does operate a lot smoother than the other one does. It's still, when you push the button and hold it down, oh, okay, it's dropping now. So I am going to give this a chance to break in. The other one, I worked on it. I played with it. It just was not going to work. This one, it is clicking, but I'm going to give it a chance to, see if it breaks in a little bit. The other one was ridiculous. So I'm going to give you guys and gals an update and let you know. And I want to know, I know a lot of you bought this. Tell me what yours does. Do you have a big click going on? Does it break in? Does it go away? Or is it always going to be super clicky? I don't know how I feel about that, but it might just need broke in. I understand that. So all in all, I like the knife. It's a little tactical looking for my taste for just everyday carry. It does have a nice grip if that's what you like. If you like the tactical look, this is going to be right up your alley. It is an attractive knife. It's not my main, my main squeeze as far as knife looks, but I really was curious how this one was going to be. As of right now, I'm a little let down. We'll see how she breaks in, but I'm not getting the action that I've seen on other channels. I'll definitely be able to get that down pat. But let me know what you guys and gals think. I'll come back, I'll give you an update here in a couple weeks, and we'll see what it does. All right. So remember, live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.